Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to. Yeah, we seem to be here all the time, don't we? There's just so much going on at the moment, and we don't want to miss anything. And it's good to have a chat and get that interaction going. Um, we're going to talk today about Stoke City, the game on Saturday, which is a big game. If we win that game, it sort of, puts us into a really strong position again. I think I posted yesterday that we've lost 1 in 7. We've won 3 of the last 4. So this is, an upward trend we're looking at. So this is really, really good. And a victory on Saturday, not only against a team that are just 3 points above us, so we can draw level with them, but also one of the stronger sides in the division. We need to give them a game. We didn't give them a game last time. So let's have a little chat about it. I'm going to have a little look around, see if we can find anyone. We'll have a little chat about what happened yesterday in a minute. Mark Reaston's here. How you doing, Mark? Nice to see you, mate. Stevie, Mark, good afternoon. Hope you're well. I am, mate. I am. Yeah, yesterday it was funny actually because we were talking about, do we get cut off after 100 comments? And sure enough, it sort of happened. It got to about 120, and I think they must have realised, hang on a minute, and they cut it off. But at the same, I was trying to get the comments back or to find out what was happening, and I accidentally ended the live. So that's what happened yesterday. If that happens today and the comments stop coming, I'll carry on just talking and finish it and say thank you and all that, and then we can get back again, soon. I mean, I could just stop it and start it again, but it's just an hour's usually enough to say what we want to say and get our opinions over. Middlesbrough beat Stoke last night 2-1 at, I was going to say the Victoria Ground, it's the Britannia Stadium. Stoke lost left fullback Laval, who is a pain in the arse, so he won't be playing on Saturday. So that's a plus point. We'll be talking about Stoke City and their threat that they bring in the next few moments. Once we get a few more people live on board, it's nice to see you guys anyway. We haven't got many on. We've only got one on at the moment. I think one of you's gone, but. We'll just hold on a minute, wait and see. We are a little bit early. It's now it's just 20 past 12 on the 23rd of January. There's another month gone there, isn't there? Bottom of what cup, man. Yeah, it'll be spring soon in Spain. When March comes, that's the start of our season, really. We get Paddy's Day here, and then after that, all systems go. So I hope we get a few more on. We've got one person on at the moment. Is that right? It's unusual. Um, we usually have a lot more on after 3 minutes, but we will find out, won't we? Let's have a little squeezy wheezy. Yeah, we got loads on. Jesus. Okay, let's have a little look who's here. So we got Stevie Markey's there, Scott Harrison. How you doing, mate? Steve Donnelly. How you doing, Steve? We broke Facebook yesterday. Oh, we're in trouble. Mark Clenchy Clench. How you doing, Marky? Hope you're all right, son. I haven't seen you for a while. I haven't interacted with you for a while. We had a mad January, but we're going to have a catch up soon. My man Angus Gafford is on. It's great to see you, Angus. Hope you're okay, man. Lee, BCFC Stanley is here, and Paul, I know that is, it's Paul, isn't it? Paul James. Afternoon, guys. How is everyone today? Is everyone all right? Looks like it's warming up nicely for a nice busy day. Um, I was saying a little bit earlier to one or two that were on at the time that yesterday, yeah, we did break Facebook, and what happened was they did cut us off after about 120. I think, because the comments come so fast, they can't just stop it at 100. So it went over that, but they did turn them off, and I was making an attempt to turn them back on and accidentally cut off the live. So if it happens again, I'll just carry on talking. I'll realise when they've gone off. Of course I will. And I'll just sum up what we've spoken about in the previous hour. It doesn't matter if we go on here every day and talk, I quite like it because, in between games sometimes it all dies a little bit, doesn't it? And it goes quiet, and, there's no interaction, no talking about, our great team and our great supporters and all that stuff. So it's good to have all that going on, really, isn't it? And continue it, and for it to continue going on. Mark Reaston It's all good, thanks. Optimistic for the rest of the season. I am too. Um, Dean was asking me about the new signings. We'll talk in a minute about that. Dave Cox, just in from shopping for my second live thingy. All right, mate. I hope you enjoyed. Steve Donnelly, quick, quite a few comments showing, yeah, I know, he's got to be mad, showing 14 on my phone. Yeah, don't worry about counting it, right? Just ignore that. Don't worry. Just don't, don't waste a comment on saying, "Oh, Steve, like you look gorgeous" or anything like that. Keep it to important stuff. All right, so what do I think of the new signings? Well, we haven't done with signings yet. We are looking for a centre half. I don't think there's a name in the frame yet, but we are active looking for someone. So that is that is a big thing for us. Um, I believe there might be a bit of interest in a Spanish La Liga forward, but I can't go into more detail than that at the moment. Um, Ian Witherington saying hello. How you doing, mate? Paul James is Stoke has a massive injury list. Probably not as bad as ours. I know that Lavelle is missing at left back because he got sent off last night. Not sure who else is there. Is Zorba Thomas around? Because with these two coming down, their left, our right. Um, well, Lavelle isn't obviously, but with Zorba Thomas, he caused us problems last time. He's a good player. They are a good side. They're very similar to Stoke City, aren't they? Because it is Stoke City. They're very similar to Coventry, and you would expect that. Mark's making a big statement by saying it's top six by the end of February. If we're in that position at the end of February, Mark, I think we're going to make the playoffs because once we're in that position, we can stabilise. I think the boss is going to do his own thing now. I think he was swayed by a few people making comments and stuff before. I think he's just going to do his own thing, and I think that's the best thing. We see how well Chris Davis's teams play when they get the bit between the teeth. There are a few people questioning like the inclusion of a few players. One that I don't agree with is Paik. I think Paik is a quality footballer, and anyone that's saying a few people have said he's crap and all this, he just isn't. He's a really good footballer. He's played an awful lot of football. That's what could be a problem. Williamson, I tend to agree, but Williamson's a big lad. He can put himself around a little bit when we need him as a sub, but we have some different options now. Um, uh, Ch- uh, Charlie Perry's how are you doing, Steve? Remember Angie and I? Yeah, of course I do, mate. We was in Bar Liquid, weren't we? I remember you too, of course I do. Mark Reeston, 100%. Thank you, mate. Thomas is one who is fit. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Zorba Thomas is one of the strong points of that side, or one of the pains in the arse. I'm not sure who we're going to include on the team on Saturday. I would be probably surprised if Priska starts. I would more expect him to be on the bench. It's his first taste of English football. I don't know if you've seen him, he looks like he's about 11. So I don't know. It's very, very difficult for us to predict this team at the weekend or to predict who's going to be in it. I'm pretty sure Solis is going to be there, or Solis as he likes to be called. This guy is made for Stoke City. We need that big physical presence in the middle of the park. And for me, if you look at Ibrahim Osman, he is a natural replacement for Dimmy. He can play wide on the left. He's got absolutely amazing touch. He's different to Dimmy. He's more physical than Dimmy, so he's stronger. Doesn't score loads of goals, but he makes assists. This is a lad that's come from um, his background at Brighton. He's been at Feyenoord. He's had a little spell at Auxerre. I don't think that went too well for one reason or another, but I really can't wait to see him. I really can't. Charlie Perry, 70 points, £5 really for the playoffs. That's a hell of a run to get to the playoffs. But the thing is, Charlie, like 75 points on a normal season. I know we had two runaway teams last season, so it did throw it a little bit, but everyone's dropping points. I think it's going to be less than that. Um, so we'll have to see what happens. Um, the difficulty we're going to have is that we've got too many good players. It's really nice to say that. And of course, we had two players on Saturday that both scored. Um, Saturday and Tuesday that both scored. So Duck scored and Kyogo scored. So where that leaves them in terms of do they play, don't they play? Because I think now probably Kumas won't be involved. I think he'll be going back in the next, I don't know, like, I think we're going for another end of the month. So, but I think really, Liverpool have been absolutely brilliant extending that loan for us, and Kumas as well for agreeing to it. Because some very unkind things have been said about him, and I think he's a good young player. Um, so, I would definitely like to see Arsenal on the left. Uh, he's going to disrupt Stoke. He's strong. He's another strong player as well. Chris Round is on. I'm hoping Kyogo as a Stormer now, second half of the season. When Laird comes, sorry, just meant to judge anyone in the Blues. Hang on a minute. Sorry, the second half of the season when Laird comes back in, I think it gives us the right balance on the pitch. Ian Witherington is saying loans for some players don't work out. Just need to judge anyone in the Blues top. Well, it is true, and loans make a perfect sense for us because we got caught out in the close season, didn't we? In the August window by signing like Kanya, for instance, and Kyogo on long-term contracts for players that are fairly old. Same, of course, with Ducks, So to give them 3 years, really, it's good to taste it and try it, isn't it? Let's see how they fit in, then we can do the deal. And I think that suits us. It suits the players. It suits the parent clubs. So I think I'm looking forward. I hope to seeing a left-sided centre half signed soon. That would be really, really good for me. I think that's probably the one thing that we are stuck on at the moment. We need to get it. We're struggling without Robinson there. Um, so we have to think about that. Iwata can play emergency right-sided uh, defence centre half, but obviously he's not perfect. But Iwata is brilliant, and what a great little player. Brett Noakes is saying hello. Richard Lawton, you need to wear your glasses, Steve, like me. Do you know what? I mean, I can, but I still have to peer forward. The thing is, I've got the laptop like a fair distance away from me, so you know. Anyway, too vain to wear glasses. Uh, no news about Roberts. Um, as far as I understand, Paul, the talks are ongoing. As I've said several times before, with these kind of deals, there's a lot of cogs that have to go round and a lot of things that have to be met and agreed. So, as I said yesterday, it could, people say, well, he's only got 6 months. Why would we pay like anything like 1.5, 2 million for him, whatever? And the thing is, Sunderland have a 1 year option on him. So Sunderland basically have got 18 months left. They could say to us, listen, we'll forego the 1.5 year option. What are you going to give us? And that's sort of the starting point. Once the clubs agree something, then the agent has to get involved. Once the agent sort of is happy with what he wants for his client, then the player gets involved. So then Roberts, what does he want for the next 2 years or 3 years or whatever the length of the contract is? How are we going to stage that? So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's like Priska. I believe that was going on from last Monday. Over the weekend and got sealed on Tuesday. I think Priska. They do tend to go through quickly once they start moving, but you've got people in this part of the world, that part of the world. They've all got to agree when they can get together. I know they can do it live, but signings have to be done. You have to get the player into the ground, all those sort of things. So it is really difficult and tough. I did tell you, didn't I, that Sarmiento wasn't going to sign, and of course that's come to fruition. I think what happened to Sarmiento was, I think everyone knew it. Borough wanted him. Sami, I think they probably didn't get what he wanted. I think the agent put a few little sneaky things out there saying that we were interested in him and Wrexham were looking to sign him and all this. And I think Borough must have thought, you know what, let's just get him. And that's exactly what happened. Can you remember how Stoke got a 6'4" defenders? I can have a quick look for you. I think they're big. I think they're pretty big. Um, they've got a very good defence. I know that they have Wilmot and Phillips at the back. Um, yeah, Phillips is like 1.92. He's like 6'4". Um, so he's a big lad. And the other side is Wilmot, and he's like actually Phillips. I think he's about 6'6". Wilmot 6'2", 6'3". They're big lads. Um, So, I don't know, like the best side. I know you're probably thinking let Kyogo run at them, but I think we've seen the best of Kyogo at the weekend when he comes on, and he does his own thing, doesn't he? Um, as a Blues fan, how interesting are the transfer windows now? We used to have left. I know, mate. I know the transfer. We used to have leftovers here, saying, and we did. Or we had to wait and beg and see who was available. But I think it's one of those things. We have got the options now, but it isn't always right to. It's not always difficult to get the correct player that you want in January. You might be more tempted to wait until July, well, end of June, which is when all the contracts run out. But I think it tells you something, tells us something that Wagner wants uh, us to have a go at getting promoted this season by the intent shown by what he's doing in this window. Um, that's so it's big. For me, that shows us a lot. Might be a day for Kyogo and Stansfield. Honestly don't know. I just can't think what the team's going to be. I honestly just don't know. Or do you find he stick with Ducks? Uh, Richard's asking me like, will he stick with Ducks and Stansfield? He's got a chance. I know Chris Davis doesn't like to change winning teams, and we won 2-0 away from home. Stansfield had a really good game. Ducks, I don't think he's physical enough for me, particularly against a team like Stoke. Um, but in the 10, he does. He's a nice player in the 10. He's intelligent. He's got the flicks. He has scored. I don't know, like what's he scored 3 goals in 3 games or something. So he's doing well. Ducks. We've got a lot of quality players. Look, my Beck's on. How are you, Beck? You all right, love? I love seeing Beck on. One of our, one of the heroines of the project. She puts up with me, man. Let me tell you. How are you, darling? Afternoon to you. Afternoon, boss. She says. I like that. Um, so there's a lot of thought got to go into this now, and I think the other thing is for the rest of the week. So the rest of the week, today and tomorrow, when they're out there, when they're training, when they're Christo's expecting what he wants from, explaining what he wants from them, although he would have done that already when signing them. There's a lot of stuff going on, and who's fit, who needs a rest. I personally, just going to see what Paul James says here. He says midfield will be interesting. Plenty of choices now, which is good, of course. Yeah. Now, I think we've got this option of playing a 4-3-2-1, which is probably not going to happen. But if we play the 4-3-2-1, it means we can play the three defensive mids. Or for me, I would be very tempted tomorrow to go with Doyle and Solis, uh, and let Pike have a day off, put him on the bench. He's always there if we need him. But I think Doyle and Solis is the way to go with this. I really do. For now, anyway. But we know, don't we, how much the gaffer loves Pike, and I understand it. He's a great footballer. I mean, what a great player he is, isn't he? He's lovely. Richard's saying, do you think then Priska could be the answer She's great. Oh, she's great. Hi, Beck. Richard saying hello to you, Beck. Priska, for now, he might be a work in progress. Priska, we bought him, um, and the fact, it, I always say we never know what they've paid for them, but the fact that Priska's on a 5-year contract will tell you that we've paid quite a lot of money for him. If we had to, we're looking for amortization there and spreading the cost and bringing it as low as we can. 5-year contract's great for a player of his age. We must have a lot of faith in him. He could be worth an absolute fortune if things go right. If they don't, we've got a 5-year contract on our hands. But can you blood a player like he's too early? He's not. I still think he's got some filling out to do. If you see photos of him, he looks like about 13. But then all the police do as well, so he could have been a copper. But you know what I mean. I'm going to give up and put my glass on for a minute. In Widrington, Stoke are well organised, and a point against Stoke will be good, but at home, no, we need to win. I think, Ian, honestly, because we've had 2 consecutive home draws, and these are games now. If we win this one now, then we've got 4 points in those 2 games, 6 points in those last 2 games, 7 including an away. So 2 away games and a home game, 7 points. That's promotion. That's promotion. That's promotion form, that is, and that's what I think we have to be looking at, to be honest. Um, we have to now, if we're serious, we have to just like put it all forward, go for it, and look at what happens. My biggest issue or my biggest worry is the fact that we need to get this back four sorted out properly once and for all. We need to have those 2 solid centre halves that are going to do the job for us and can play together all season. How many different centre half pairings have we had this season? Have a think about it. It does, and I think that's one of our biggest issues this season has been the back four in terms of not being able to get a stable back four. We've had Laird, we've had Buchanan, we've had Cashin, we've had Robinson, we've had Iwata, we've had Samuel, Neumann, like 10 or 11 players there that have played across the back four. That doesn't make for good reading. We need to get a stable back four, and I know that we go forward a lot. We go forward in the back from the back four in possession. So one of our fullbacks usually will go forward when we attack. At the moment, it's probably more Wagner now than it is Iwata, because Wagner can get up. But we have to be careful then on that break. If there's a break against us and Wagner's caught out of possession, then those 2 centre-halves have to know exactly what each of them are doing, and the right back has to drop into cover. So we end up with 3 centre-halves really. And if that's a lack of understanding between those 3 players, we've seen it so many times this season when it looks like they're not concentrating or they're caught. It's just spatial awareness. If they don't know where each other are, then that's a big problem. We've seen so many goals given away like that. I would say we've given more goals away like that than we've missed good chances. There ain't much in it, but I would say our biggest issue this season has been the back four. That's honestly what I think. Um, Charlie Perry must win against Stoke. Tom Wagner wants the playoffs. I agree. We have to go for it. We do. I wouldn't say it's a must-win, Charlie. We're too far from the end of the season to be making comments like that. But it's an important game, and it's a chance for Chris to make a bit of an impact now and to show us what he's going to get this team to do going forward. He's only had these players for 4 days, and new players, so we have to be patient with him as well. Steve Daniels saying hello to me. Richard Lawton, hello Bex, how's your day? Richard and Beck having a little chat using our 100 comments. How dare they? I think we're going to break Facebook again. I'm just going to have a quick. I don't like looking, but we're all right. We're okay for a bit. We've been on for 25 minutes. We're halfway there. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on the back four? Do you think this has been one of the problems, or do you not see that? I think Clara is a very good centre half, but he needs a footballing centre half alongside him, and Neumann isn't that. Robinson sort of is, Robinson's naturally left-sided as well, but he's injured at the moment, so that doesn't help, doesn't he? Does it? Steve Dow's just joined you now, and the idea what's happened with Sarmiento. Yeah, he's not coming, mate. I mean, I said on Tuesday that Sarmiento, I did put him in there because he was I mentioned him in the site because he was from Brighton, so I thought it might be a chance. Then I heard no, it isn't going to happen, and I think I said on Tuesday night, Sarmiento isn't going to happen, and it's not. I mean, he's going to go. He'll go to Middlesbrough. I think there's a lot of agent manipulation with that thing. Putting it out there that he might be going here and he might be going there. But I did say yesterday that he ain't coming and he isn't. Richard, yes, definitely, definitely. We haven't had a settled for all season, and that doesn't help our keepers. Doesn't help the keeper. Doesn't help the defenders. So a point was made the other day that when the break against Swansea, when the break went against uh, Wagner, he sort of got done, didn't he? Then Clara came across to cover him, but as Clara was covering him, you can see him looking back to see where, if Neumann's come in, and then Clara's not the strongest on his left side tackling, which doesn't help. He's a right-sided centre half. We also miss that long cross-field right-footed pass that we see coming from Clara when he plays on the right. Do you remember early in the season those long direct balls over to Dimmy? Really, really good. He's lost that now because he's playing on the left. He can't play that ball with his left foot. So it cost us quite a bit, I think. Newman had struggled at times. We have seen, yeah, Paul. He does struggle, and I'm not having a go at him. I mean, every country's league is different, and I think he's had difficulty settling. It might be that he settles, but just when he seems to be going right, things sort of go wrong again. Um, I don't know. Uh, let's just hope it comes good for him. Steve Dowsall maybe an issue our end, maybe PSR, a team has pulled out. No, that isn't right, Steve. That Sarmiento signing wasn't going to happen. I promise you. Uh, and as far as Leonard is concerned, we don't know what's happening with that. Um, we just don't know. But I don't think we'll see Leonard in the shirt again. But who knows? Plasters can be applied to issues, can't they? Emily Moulds on. Emily is one of our. Oh God, what can you say about him? Top moderator, absolutely brilliant. So, such a great blues fan as well, and understands the game, gets on with people, but can also be strong, can't you? Him. Um, Still missing 11 players according to the the meaning of the email. Yeah, well, I wouldn't believe too much of what they're saying. They probably could be, but probably 7 of them are squad players. I don't know. It'll be interesting to listen to the Gaffer's presser tonight. Andy Wood, I have a feeling the Priska deal has been in the pipeline for months. Um, uh, all right, then. I think the lad has kept himself fit since the end of the Norwegian season. He said, obviously, since the end of November, sorry, he said in the clip I saw that he had been looking at projects for a couple of months and Blues fitted what he's looking for. Yeah, I think he, because don't underestimate what agents do. Agents will be looking at possibilities for a player like him who's had such a good record scoring 19 goals in 28 starts, I think, in Sweden. But the Swedish league isn't the championship. It plays half the amount of games. He's young. Um, I think his dad had a little bit to do with it. His dad was the manager of Feyenoord, I believe, when Prisco went there on loan. So he has, and of course, there's all the background story to it as well. So I think there's a lot going on there. Um, I don't think it's been in the pipeline for months, Andy, but I do think it's been in the pipeline for a week or more. Paul James, yeah, that's where I read it. That's the way I read it too, Richard. I wasn't quite sure what that's about, Paul, but okay, because I can't just remember what I just said a few minutes ago. Richard Lawton, surely Leonard is worth sending on loan. Yeah, absolutely he is. I don't think there's anyone like stopping Leonard from leaving because, yeah, I think Leonard was a bit of an issue behind closed dressing room doors, and you listen. You can understand players being upset they're not selected and stuff, but the minute a manager has that sort of thing going on, um, when you're a manager, you have to manage. If you don't manage, you're not a manager. And I think this is you see Chris Davies now putting his foot down. He decides what happens in the dressing room, no one else. And I think that's it. That's my take. Um, Definitely, if someone comes in for for Leonard, so absolutely he can go. It's just getting someone in for him, getting the right deal somewhere. Well, don't forget, Leonard has the right not to go. So it has to be somewhere he wants to go. It has to be somewhere that we're happy with the deal. Like I said before, there's a lot of things going on here, and there's another few months left. And if not, he's a squad player for the rest of the season. Then we see what happens. But like I said, plasters can be put on things, can't they? Things might turn out all right. Colin Nichols tuned in. Nice one, Carl. Paul James about Stoke 11 missing. Yeah, 11 missing, but I mean, I don't know how many we got missing. We can't have far off that many missing ourselves. I know we got Scotty Wright back now, but we got some really good players missing. Uh, Brett Noakes, Leonard has done bad for us, to be fair. Not got the minutes, but played his part. I think you meant hasn't done bad for us. He hasn't. I like Leonard as a footballer, I really do. And he's always come across as being a very positive personality. I think he had that little spell where he played when Pike dislocated his shoulder, and he did play well. And then, as soon as Pike was fit, he was dropped. I think if it hadn't been probably Pike, it might not have happened. But Pike plays such an important part in Chris Davies's plans on the pitch that he had the choice of Pike or Leonard. It's an important game. When you're making those choices, it's not like, well, we don't upset Leonard or we don't. There's no emotion in football, and if you think it's going to get us to 3 points, then that's the decision you make. And then if the player reacts in a bad way, then it isn't good, of course. So politics happen behind closed dressing room doors, and I think the thing you have to remember as well, you've got 28, anywhere between 26 and 30 men who are young athletes who all want to improve their careers, who all want to play. And with all the will in the world, if you think going in a room with 28 people, you're going to get on with every one of them, you're mistaken, So there's going to be fallouts, and those fallouts have to be managed by Chris and Ben. They have to manage that, and they have to make sure that no one reacts in the wrong way. Because if people react in the wrong way, that's when you get, dressing room revolts, and we've seen it with forget his name now, with the who was it when we've seen Harley Dean do the shrug, that sort of thing. That sort of thing is just, as soon as the players start taking the piss out of the manager, it's all over for the manager. Steve Daniels, Stoke got 11 missing, but I've got mates who are Stoke fans, and they said the replacement players very well last night, especially their striker Cisse. Well, they lost, so that doesn't necessarily mean that they played badly, of course. Steve Daniels, but I will say Stoke's number one goalkeeper is out, and he's arguably the best in the league, in my opinion. Yeah, this could be a day when we test the keeper. I hope if John Solis decides to have a shot, it's a little bit better than the one he had the other night, which went, oh fuck, it's probably in the Sheffield sky still somewhere. But shooting at keepers that aren't experienced is good. Distant shots make things difficult for them. The big thing for us with this game is that it's an early evening kick-off. It's um, so it's an early evening kick-off, which means, of course, that let me just give me 1 sec. I'm sorry. Um, it's a 4 o'clock kick-off. I was thinking it was an early evening kick-off for some reason. I don't know why. So it's a 3 o'clock kick-off for you, 4 o'clock for me. So the thing is, we're at home, aren't we? So we're at home. This is it. We have to take 3 points. This is where we take all our points. But starting midweek, we also take them away now. Our first win away from home, a clean sheet. Goalkeeper looked really good. The team in the second half gelled. We wore them down. Like Chris Davies said, we pounded the rock and eventually it broke. And that's what we have to do again. Just like we did last season, we have to be a little bit resolute. We have to be a little bit stronger. We've got stronger physical players now. We've got two physical presences in the shape of Osman on the left, Ismail Osman on the left, and in the middle John Solis. And of course, we're not sure about Priska yet. He's a tall lad, but he looks young. Like I said earlier, and I forget who said it. We agreed with me, but he looks like a 13-year-old copper, doesn't he? Like they all do. But I think that's just when you get older, you look at them. But I'm just thinking to myself. I think I said this to Pete Hannon yesterday. When you see like one of the old seasoned big 6'4", or like these Stoke guys 6'7", centre half, and then Priska comes on and stands next to him, or he goes and stands by Priska. You just wonder what the mindset of that centre half is. It doesn't mean he's going to get the better of him. This lad can turn defenders. He can hold them up. But I'm just thinking, what sort of impression he's going to make on opposition defenders. What are they going to think about him? And it's an interesting one. Steve Daniels, but I will say Stoke's #1 goalkeeper. All right, you just said it, yeah. We haven't had a comment since then. Have we gone over? No, we haven't. We can still talk. Keep coming, guys. Um, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm hoping that with this, if we do beat Stoke City on Saturday, which I'm hoping we can, and I think we will, then we get that we get that much needed 3 points. But the important thing with that as well is that sorry, the important thing with that as well is that we catch Stoke City, don't we? We level on points to them if we win. So that really is really something big, isn't it? Because they've always been in the top six all season. So we catch them. We got 38 points. They got 41. Their season has gone a little bit downhill since the start of the season. I did stay at the start of the season, though, didn't I? That I fancied Stoke. Everyone laughed at me as an outsider to go up. So a little look. So Lee Wilkie is saying that, "Hi Steve, ladies and gents. I watched the Stoke game last night. I have to say that, just want to see that again. I have to say Stoke closed down Middlesbrough and didn't let them play in the first half. Second half they were clearly tired, and Middlesbrough. Yeah, well that's our strength, isn't it? Tiring teams. But listen, we cannot afford to underestimate Stoke City. They're a very good side with an extremely good manager. So Lee, thank you for that. I didn't watch it myself because honestly I was knackered last night. I get up dead early and all that stuff. You heard it before. I just have to go to bed sometimes. And Steve Daniels, he thinks they're playing their third choice keeper. Come on, that's good. Uh, feel sorry for the keeper, like if he makes any mistakes, but that's life. Clive Murphy's on. How you doing, Clive? How's the Choppers, son? Uh, Hope all is well with everyone. It is Clive. I hope you're all right, son. Emily's saying we'll beat Stoke on Saturday, and she's got her arm like that and a big. I'm not quite sure what it is. I can't really see. A heart or something. What is it, Em? Becky's saying the women's team are having a great transfer window too. Yeah, you know what? I think the ladies have got this nailed this season. I really do. And the FA Cup run is doing us good as well. Looks like we've got a bye from the next round, really. So we could be in the last eight of the ladies FA Cup. Come on, come on. Paul James agreeing with them. He thinks they're going to win. We're going to win as well. Steve Daniels, yeah, I think our squad depth will pay dividends. I think it will for the rest of the season. But like I've said, we still got some time to go, and I think we're going to be searching for that centre half now, and hopefully we'll hear something soon. Sean Nichols is just saying, "Sound Steve, do you know if we are looking for a centre half at the moment? There's no name on it yet, but I know actively like the club are looking for a centre half. We need one. We're desperate for one. What happens if God forbid if Clara gets injured or sent off, or same with Neumann now, because we have Asai Samuel can step in there, Iwata can place it, but we don't want to use makeshift centre halves. Uh, like we got. I mean, Billy Burrow was on the bench last week. I don't think I think he'll be going out on loan. He's a centre half with 2-footed, but he's a young lad. It's too early to blood some players. Tommy Fogarty went on loan yesterday to Morecambe. Anyway, Tommy Fogarty went on loan yesterday, so we're short of a centre half. Um, Daniel Garvey, if we win by 4 goals, we go above Stoke. Yeah, because I think we're 8 behind them, aren't we, or something? They've got a +9, we've got a +1. So Stoke City, we could do with 5 actually, just to give us that clear bit of space. But it doesn't mean, of course, that we go into the top 6, because um, uh, we're too far behind, aren't we? We're more than 3 points behind. We're 5 points behind the top 6, so we need to close that gap, and hopefully, that sets us up for the rest of the season. Um, we've had a tough first half of the season. There's no doubt about that. But I honestly think if you look at it, and if you're a reasonable person, you can't blame the gaffer for what's going on that first half of the season. Look at all the injuries, look at the suspensions, look at what's gone on one way or another. Football's a funny world, and things happen that affect the outcome of things, and you know, a lot of stuff affects outcomes, and it could have gone the other way. For instance, if everyone baying for Chris Davis's blood because we were 13th, now just say we had a weak board and they go, like, let's get rid of him. You just don't know what might have happened. We could have got anyone in. Look at the issues that Albion are having. Is that what you want for Blues? We've got a very, very good young manager who's just won us, or he's managed us through our best ever season last season. He deserves a little bit of credit, and he deserves a little bit of loyalty. I know Chris Davis, his heart is on his sleeve with Blues. His whole family back him. That everyone in Chris's family has become Blues fans. You've got to, you have to have a little bit of loyalty towards our managers. You just have to do this. And I know this is going to work out well if we all stick together on it. Same with Peace. Phil Harvey, is that right? Nothing that wrong with first half of the season. Good learning curve. I totally agree with you, Phil. Just what I was saying, really. We have to learn, and I was one of those that thought, something the way we play football, but then you don't know what the new signings are going to be like, and it didn't work for us, did it? With some of them, I mean, Kanya didn't turn out to be the number 10 that we wanted. Kyogo, listen, we all love him, but he hasn't scored the goals that we expected. Season, it wasn't brilliant. Like Neumann, probably not the best signing at centre half. Dux is turning out all right. Roberts has been brilliant, and of course Dimmy has been an absolute brilliant signing for us. M saying that we've been unlucky with injuries and suspensions. No one can blame any of that on CD. Absolutely right, my love. The next half of the season looks really positive. It has to be, doesn't it? And listen, at the end of the day, I'm not saying Chris Davis has to be bulletproof. If Chris does a shit job, and we end up getting relegated, then fair enough. But he deserves one season, and then he deserves a second go at it once we've established ourselves as a championship player. I'm not saying that I don't think we can go up. I think we can, but I don't want that to be a pressure on the manager, because he will have enough pressure from the board if that's what they want. If they're saying to him, and I believe they're saying to him, listen, Chris, go out and do what you can. If we don't go up, we're still behind you. You're going to have a second go at this. That's what I believe, because Tom Wagner is no fool, and he doesn't get swayed by people making shitty, comments on social media. Although let me tell you, he reads it, and I can tell you from our group, our moderators will tell you the same. People read our group. I promise you that. People within the club that are influential, that understand, how the majority of our supporters feel. And I think that we represent the silent majority in this group. We're not on all the other pages giving them shit. We keep ourselves to ourselves, and we like to have balanced and generally good conversations here if we can. I know people have called me Hitler and all this, but we have to keep out. It's a bit like Chris with his dressing room. We have to keep out the shit, and we do. Paul James is saying that Samstead rumour has him off to the USA, if true, not expected anyhow. Yeah, and I think that's probably true actually, Paul. I know Samstead's had a tough time of it, and he's been very professional. To be fair to him, he's played when he's been called upon. He's been all right. He hasn't really let anyone down. The only time he looked really awful was against Port Vale, but so did a lot of other players. So I just think it's time. He's had a go. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked for him. And then go to America will be a nice move for him. We're strong enough at right back. We got Samuel back now. We'll be getting Ethan Laird back in 4 weeks. I'm hoping to have Lee Buchanan back in the next couple of weeks. I think we're going to see him appear on the bench at some time. I hope so. So everything is looking rosy for us, isn't it? And don't forget, just keep looking at those. Keep looking at the Blues sites for any news of transfers. Don't be reading what you believe. Don't be reading what you believe. Don't be believing everything you read that's written about transfers. You've seen the Sarmiento one was a classic for me of an agent getting mileage out of people reading, reading crap. Samstead rumour, that's poor. Yeah. So and I've said to you all along that we don't put loads of stuff out there in terms of transfers, but if I see something that I think is going to happen, we will put it in here. I promise you we will, but we have to be confident of it, because we don't want to be wasting your time with these rumours that cause arguments and people fall out, and then what happened, and someone else gets blamed. The club wouldn't put the money up. The club wouldn't pay that extra 300 quid he wanted. Who told you about this extra 300 quid? Well, the Evening Mail. Oh, right, must be right then. Fucking seriously. Richard is saying we could deal with Robinson and Dimmy back along with... We could do with all of our injured players back, Richard. And, Laird has been a massive miss for us. I think Robinson is going to be a bigger miss for us if he is genuine out for 6 months. It'll be 6 weeks. It'll be interesting tonight to hear the gaffer's presser and see what the injury situation is. I think Dimmy's still going to be 2 or 3 weeks away, but now we have Ibrahim Osman. I think that relieves the pressure on that left wing position. So I think Osman could be one that starts on Saturday. I think Solis has got a good chance of starting. I think Priska will be on the bench. It's just what... Listen, who am I to guess? I'm exactly the same as you. It is guesswork. But also you can try and... what I do a lot of the time is not think about what I want, but to sort of put myself in Chris Davis's shoes and think what the sensible thing would be to do. and I think what I've just said would be sensible. We have Priska on the bench. We can bring him on with like 20 minutes to go. Let's see how we're doing. If we're winning, then obviously it makes life a bit easier. Um, if we need to throw the kitchen sink at it towards the end, throw Priska on, because we used to do it with Lyndon Dykes. We've done it with Ducks. So, be interested to see who he starts up front, because like I said, Ducks and Kyogo scored on Tuesday night. Do you want to drop someone that's just scored? We did it before, of course, with Kyogo. Um, but Kyogo's now got 2 goals in 3 games. Ducks has got, I think, 3 and 4 or something. So we got 2 on-form strikers, and we just signed one, possibly two. You can play Ibrahim Osman through the middle. He can play anywhere across the front, to be honest. So that he's very, very, he has that ability to play across the front. And also, of course, like I mentioned before, we could have this other player coming in, so just bear with me on that one. Emily Mould is saying, can't wait to see the new lads. Nor me, but I think Priska is going to be a bit like Kyogo, and he's like your son, isn't he? Come here, Priska, you little bugger. Give him one of them. Come on, get back on that bench, you little bugger. Priska, come here. Come on, you're on. Get your shorts on. Good lad. We don't let posts and comments get out of control. That's why it's a sensible group, unless Peter and I have both been to the pub. Well, you ain't going to see Pete letting anything on because he's been to the pub, mate. I think you might have the wrong person there. But we don't. It's very, very hard to control a group of this size, and you can't monitor it 24 hours a day with 15 people. So we do our very best to do it. Stuff gets through, and obviously when you got a post come on, and then there's like 15 or 20 comments on it, it's hard to go through each comment and read them, and So sometimes it's like we do have to turn comments off so we can absorb what's happened and then turn them back on if we want. And there's a lot of things that go on, and we don't. I know people think we do it like to piss anyone off. Of course we don't. Why would we want to do that? If we see a post that we don't want to be there, we don't turn the comments off. We just get rid of the post. We don't. Oh no, that post really pissed me off. What will we do? I'll just turn the comments off so people can keep reading it. Come on. You lot, I'm preaching to the converted anyway, because the fact that you lot come on here every day and listen to me yakking on is absolutely brilliant, and obviously it's absolutely fantastic to have your support, because without people like you, our group doesn't exist. It's as simple as that. And like Beck's on here at the moment, I believe. So, Beck will tell you, we've said before, that if it's just me and her running the group and we have 5 members, that's how it stays, because we're not going to change anything about our group, nothing. We've become a CIC, so we're a charity as well, more or less. And that's only because of all the work we try and do in the community. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So the group has changed since we've come on board, but it hasn't changed in a way that we just let anyone come on and say what they want. That ain't going to happen here. You all know that anyway. I'm speaking to the converted there. So we got 91 comments. They usually go up to about 120, I think. And that usually takes us to about an hour, so it is sort of working out that way. If suddenly the comments do go off, I will just wind up and we can talk again very soon. Richard's saying, I wanted to ask, what is an OC? A CIC is a non-profit. If you want, it's a non-profit making company. So we are actually a registered company, but we are not allowed to make profit. A charity is slightly different, not vastly different. And with the CIC, so what it means is, like for instance, the National Lottery are funding some of our projects. So the small the communities fund is funding some of our stuff as a CIC. So if you were like I don't know, Richard Lawton Limited, there's no way like a national body which is government funded is going to be funding you. They will fund us because we're non-profit making, and we have to prove that to funders. So when we apply for funds, or when we bid for funds, then we have to, you wouldn't believe the process that we have to go through. National Lottery gave us £20,000, £19,000 actually, to do an 18-month project on mental health, which we're doing as we speak. But we have to report back all the time. Beck will tell you she has to do loads of reports going back and forth to Lotteries Commission, showing what we're doing. We have to tell them. We have to have strict budgets on the money that they give us. So it's all proper and above board. But a CIC is a non-profit making charity or non-profit making company that is based on charity work mainly. Steve Roworth is saying loads of tickets left for Saturday. Yeah, we've got like 3 home games, haven't we, coming up? People, money's tight, isn't it? I'm surprised there's a lot left. I don't know what sold, Steve. Can you tell us how many sold? Richard's saying, I work for Shirley Community Centre, and they are a charity registered company. Yeah, it's a similar thing. There's 2 kinds of charities, if you want. We're not a charity. We're not a charity. So a charity is a different thing. What we do is we're not a specific charity. For instance, like we don't look after dogs, or we don't whatever. We apply ourselves to lots of different things and apply for funding for different people. For instance, I might say, right, I'm a big company. We're going to offer, like Tesco do it, lots of companies do it. We're going to offer like £40,000 to a company that is going to show us that they're going to do, a 2-year project that is going to include this and this and this and this, and blah blah blah. And then if you want to apply for that, you have to be a CIC or a charity. You can then apply and then say, listen, this is what we'd like to do. How are you going to deliver it? Bang, 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 bang. Who's going to deliver it? Bang, bang, bang. All these things, budget, everything. And then if you're lucky enough to win that bid, then you get the money, So there's a lot behind it, Richard. It's not easy enough to just explain it in 2 minutes. Paul James saying, later Steve. See you later, Paul. Thank you for your support, mate. Really appreciate it. Richard, I can't go to the cup game. As in rotor to work, and I can't swap again. Fair enough, mate. We all have work to do. I can't get into the UK at the moment because I haven't got a visa. Only joking. I can't get into the UK. I'm not in the UK, so obviously I'm limited. I've done years and years of watching the Blues, and I'm absolutely certain I'll be doing years and years more. But at the moment, sometimes circumstances decide what you can do and what you can't do. So we have to all live our life as well as being a football supporter. How we doing on the comment front? We've got 4 comments left, so you might as well throw them at me now. I think we've got to have. It's funny how actually I looked on the last twice when we've had the comments turned off, because we've done, we've had so many people on. That it's always around the 1 hour, 1 hour, 5 minutes when the comments get switched off, and we're on 58.5 minutes now, and I think we've got like 3 comments left. But of course they don't go bang off at 100. If about 10 comments come all through together like I did yesterday, I think we went off on 110 comments or something. So, but what we like to say is that we broke Facebook. Nothing wrong with breaking Facebook occasionally. I might do, I'll see what happens. I don't think I'm going to be doing one tomorrow, because we've done this pre-match one today. But what we might do, if anything materialises in terms of signings, or any incoming or outgoing happens at the club, we might just come on for a brief 15 or 20 minutes and have a chat about it. Of course, if you think this kind of thing is worth doing every day, you guys let me know in the group, and definitely, we can do it. We never short of people or comments, and it's really good to be able to have this interaction with you as a person, rather than, seeing someone in print. It's nice to have that thing, and I love it. I have the time to do you know, 1 hour podcast. It ends up taking a lot more than that because you have to process it and all that afterwards, you know, because we put them into YouTube as well so people can watch our YouTube content. Richard is saying have a good weekend, everyone, and I think he's going. All right, Richard. And we can start to wind it up anyway now. So we're looking at Saturday's game. If you want to, just for a bit of a laugh, um, like we were doing earlier in the season when we had quite a few little issues at the back, as I was mentioning earlier, we can put your teams into the group if you want. See what the team's going to be on Saturday. You don't need to put a whole list of subs in, but you could say, for instance, you know, Prisca on the bench, so on the bench, you know. So see what you think. I might have a little look at that later. I'm scared to put it on because when I put something on, I go, man, you get laughing emojis, you know. So, you know. And I think it hurts me. It doesn't hurt me. Lee Wilkie, thank you. To Richard. Keep right on. Listen, all of you, keep right on. Love you all. What a fabulous group we've got, and I really enjoy this interaction. Thank you so much for coming on and supporting me like this. Really, really like it. Don't forget on Saturday, then apparently there's a lot of tickets left. You can do that. I think the the balloon release for Robert Hopkins, I believe, is on the car park, and I think that is at 2 o'clock on Saturday. I may be wrong, but just double check that. But I'm pretty sure that's right. So that would be good if you can be there for that. You know, Hoppy deserves that, doesn't he? So, lot going on at the moment. A lot of transfer speculation, interaction. I'll get my nose down, see if we can sniff out anything else that's happening, but pretty much brought you up to date with everything that I know. If you have anything you want to ask me on DM, then you're welcome to do so. Not like some of the ones I get, you know, like stick your group up your arse and all that. Those ones are nice. We just hit the 100 comments actually, so we might be turned off. I don't know. I don't think we are, but we could be. So, I'd like to say a massive thank you to you all. Absolutely brilliant little chat today. I hope we've not learned something, but I hope we've all shared our info and what we think. And let's keep the support for the gaffer. Let's keep the support for the team. You know, don't be too hard on the new signings if they don't straight away click, because these lads have never played English football. They're with a completely new set of people that I haven't known for a week yet. So let's give them a chance, get behind them, and I really fancy us for the 3 points on Saturday. And I've absolutely no doubt we'll probably speak before that, maybe Saturday morning or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. If I get home and I'm a bit bored, I might just come on and see if anyone's on here that fancies to chat. But it's been really, really enjoyable talking to you. Our moderators, Richard Lawton, Emily Mould, and of course Rebecca Hicks. Thank you for coming and supporting me today. Really do appreciate you guys coming on like that. And listen, I love you all, you know that. But thanks for an absolutely fabulous 1 hour and 3 minutes, guys. Got the right arm. I haven't always get the wrong arm. There it is. Look, keep right on. Up the Blue Boys. Listen, 3 points on Saturday. Keep right on. Thank you so much.